whimsical directive of the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. We as a caucus have engaged with the minister, but it appears that the minister is adamant in her way and has decided not to listen to the sound voice of reason and the words of the stakeholders in the industry. We hope that within the next 24 to 48 hours, reason will apply. We want to use this means to call on His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to instruct his Minister for Communication and Digitalization to rescind her decision on the deadline, as it holds potential national security implications for millions of Ghanaians who have not been able to, due to no fault of theirs, register their SIM cards. We urge the President and National Security Minister not to treat this issue with kid gloves and take cognizance of the brewing threat of terror and ensure that millions of Ghanaians who earn a living by the use of their SIM cards on a daily basis are not disenfranchised.
Indeed, just about 2 weeks ago, the NIA was in this house to brief the house, and they themselves considered that not only do they not have offices across all the districts of this country, but that they are even handicapped in terms of even bare logistics, like printing cards, common ordinary printing cards, staff, and other logistics to be able to meet the growing needs of the people in respect of the obtaining of this card. And so they consider that they have challenges for which they sought the assistance of Parliament to get done. So if you cannot afford everybody access to the Ghana card, why are you making it automatic?
Hey, Sam George. Capricious, atrocious, sagacious, audacious. Goodness gracious. All right. Now, also in Parliament yesterday, the Speaker says we'll all have to wait for his decision on Adjo Asafo.
Honorable members, I have consulted the old lady. The old lady has given me an advice, and I think that advice is correct, because the issue raised by the majority leader is both of substantive and procedural law, and I need time to submit to this House a reasoned, written ruling. I cannot, in the haste of today, give you the ruling. In the circumstances, I will urge this House for us to call it a day. On return, I will deliver the written ruling.
Yeah, so we're all waiting. But in the meantime, well-known lawyer and CDD fellow, Professor Kweku Asare, actually says, look, this one is not a matter of decision-making. The thing is actually already clear that Adjo Asafo has lost her seat.
I mean, it's even surprising that we would debate this. I mean, where on the planet Earth can an employee just take off for 42 sittings in a meeting? A meeting is 42 sittings. So the whole meeting, she doesn't show up. The speaker does not know where she is. And we are debating whether or not the Constitution says the seat should be vacated. Meanwhile, she's representing a constituency, and the constituency does not have representation. How can we, even in all seriousness, debate such a thing? I don't think it's something that we should even be debating. That seat, to me, is vacated when you miss more than 15 sittings and you have not even had the courtesy to notify the speaker that, hey, Mr. Speaker, I'm here, and something like that. And it is also not up to the committee, assuming we are talking about 15 or 14 or 13 sittings. It's not really up to the committee to chase you around to get an explanation from you. You have an affirmative responsibility to reach to the committee and offer your explanation.
Well, Kojo, I talk about the SIM card re-registration. Now, you're supposed to use only the Ghana card.
Yes.
Our total population, some 30 million Ghanaians. So far, the NIA says it has registered 16.9 million Ghanaians and has issued cards to some 15 million Ghanaians. The question is, the remaining Ghanaians who do not have the NIA card, are we saying that these persons should lose their phone numbers just because they do not have an NIA card? Today, go to some of the NIA registration centers. You would find people there. I have seen people, ever since Raymond said, "Oh, thank you, Winston, for helping me get my Ghana card." People have called me and said, "Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me?" A lot of people do not have their Ghana card. So, look, we're complaining that e-levy is raked in only 93 million, and we've reviewed it to 611 million. I dare say, if we go ahead with the threats, even the 611 million, we won't get it. But that aside, why do you tell people who have not registered for their Ghana cards that they cannot use their mobile phones? Take your time, get everybody registered, and then you go ahead and do that. I mean, I know the argument to be made that, some people have just decided not to have their Ghana cards. That is not the case. Go to some of the district offices. People are ready and just can't get their Ghana cards.
I think there's perhaps a lack of project management in some of these things, because it ought to be quite obvious. If there is no deadline on the Ghana card, on getting the Ghana card, is very and only half of Ghanaians have received a Ghana card, it is very difficult to justify a deadline on registering your SIM with a Ghana card.
Yeah.
I would have thought that was obvious. It doesn't appear to be, because the Minister for Communication insists that the deadline will not be moved.
Well, let's get into the papers. We'll come back. We'll talk about this later on the show.
All right, let's rush through a few of these headlines because you need to hear them. Daily Guide has this: NPP chalks 30, pledges to overcome development challenges. Also on the front page, police snub corruption tag. Collins Dauda and others trial for October. Manya Krobon MP charged with illegal connection. Ooh, imagine. Atuesian and two others face judgment on the 17th of November. And that's it for the Daily Guide.
Well, the Chronicle for this morning, Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, woe to those who decree iniquitous decrees and the writers who keep writing oppression. Trial of Opuni and others, CJ has granted me a limited time, pursuant to Article 1122 of the Constitution, Justice Honyanuga. And NPP touts achievements as it marks 30th anniversary. Court dismisses Spew's defamation suit against Wontumi, and majority and minority divided over Sarah Adjoa Safo.
Okay, issuance of license to institutions to plant weed. Law flouts constitution, that's according to the Supreme Court. I've read all the stories on this. I'm yet to see the explanation of the court of how this particular law flouts the constitution, but they have stated which provisions of the constitution have been flouted by their estimation.
So it's actually a procedural matter.
So what was the procedural matter? What went wrong? That's what we don't know.
The court says it will give its, the ruling, a copy of the ruling will be made available next month.
Yeah.
So when you get that,
that's when we
would understand. Yeah.
All right. Police, most corrupt institution, IGP responds to reports. We've talked about this. President orders Sports Ministry and GFA to partner old players to develop grassroots football. And Speaker indefinitely defers decision on Adjoa Safo. Was it indefinite?
It says when they return.
So not exactly indefinite. Okay then. There we go. Ghanaian Times.
Well, the Finder this morning says, bear with government to fix current economic hardships, challenges. That's the NPP. Akufo-Addo sacks Adjoa Safo as gender minister, and 57 million release for feeding allowances to colleges of education, and chaotic scramble for Ghana card to register SIM cards. This is what we're talking about.
We shall overcome hardship. NPP urges public to have trust in government. NSS to champion maize, rice, soya beans production. GES directed to fast-track payment of new teachers. And on the back, Brittany Griner, US could swap Russia arms dealer for 2 Americans.
Well, the Daily Graphic is the final one that I've got here that says Adwoa Safo sacked. Increase investment in domestic production to avert imminent food crisis, agric buddies. Licenses for cannabis cultivation unconstitutional, and government releases 57.4 million to colleges of education.
Let's go online real quick. The review online is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. And this morning on myjoyonline.com, Akufo-Addo sacks Adwoa Safo as gender minister. And then, of course, other stories. CityNewsroom.com has dismissal of Adwoa Safo as gender minister long overdue, according to Franklin Kujo. And on the BBC this morning, Ukraine's shadow army. All right, time now for the BBC.
And it's brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us and Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only